I think game week 26 has been one of the craziest game weeks in FPL history. I've already put it behind me because I had such a shocker, and I'm looking forward to the double in game week 27. And here is my preview of it. So as I mentioned, we've got a double in game week 27. Brighton, Brentford, Palace and Southampton. 4 teams that double in this game week. Brighton and Brentford, in my opinion, have the two of the favourable fixtures, if you like. Brighton with Leeds and Palace, Brentford with Everton and Southampton, whereas Crystal Palace and Southampton have got Man City and Man United mixed in respectively. So players to target, and I think the highest predicted points, you can sort of guess the teams that they're going to come from. Doesn't mean that I'm completely ruling out Crystal Palace and Southampton options. I mean, Zaha's always a shout for Palace, and James Ward-Prowse is just a consistent free kick and penalty taker for Southampton, and he can score those against anyone in fairness. But I think it's safe to say that most of this video is going to be focused on Brentford and Brighton players. Okay, so looking at the top expected points for goalkeepers and defenders, no real surprise that we see Brighton and Brentford players dominating the top lists. We've got Rob Sanchez for Brighton, assuming that he plays. I know Steele started the game in game week 26, which is another absolutely crazy surprise. I didn't really see Sanchez ever getting dropped. So yeah, of the two, I'd probably say Raya is the best, just because he's pretty much guaranteed to play both of the games in the double, whereas Sanchez, we don't really know his position in the team, and obviously these stats reflect the fact that these players are just going to play 90 every game and don't really take into account expected minutes. And then top of the defenders, we got the 4 Brighton, basically the Brighton back 4, with a Stupinan 1 point ahead basically of the rest of them. Ben Mee tops the tree for the Brentford defenders, closely followed by Henry, Pinnock, Hickey, and then you've got 3 Southampton defenders after that point. And interestingly, yeah, the 4 top goalkeepers are from the 4 teams that double. And you can see the rest of the players on that list there. I won't go through them all. And then the midfielders and the forwards. It's interesting to see that Mitoma is actually the top player for predicted points, according to DraftHound, for game week 27. In my mind, I think I'm heading towards captaining Tony. I know these stats are suggesting that he's predicted to get less points, but I just think, obviously, Mitoma's nailed to start for Brighton. I don't see him being dropped. But Tony's on penalties, 90-minute man. Obviously, the yellow cards are a bit of a risk, but I just think Tony is a great option. And yeah, I think he'll be the most popular captain. But it's just interesting to see that Mitoma is, certainly by DraftHound anyway, expected to get more points. Followed by McAllister, March, Wissa, Gross, Ward-Prowse, Jensen, and you can see the rest of the players there. Rashford actually holding his own in terms of expected points with the double game week players, so he's definitely not someone I'd be considering selling this week. Ferguson, Mbeumo, Haaland, Kane, Onachu for Southampton. Sorry if I've butchered that pronunciation. You can see the rest of the list there. Basically similar to the goalkeepers and defenders, it's dominated by double game week players, with the key players from FPL this season shining through as well. Obviously the likes of Haaland and Rashford still amongst the top expected points. And now looking at the goal scoring and goal involvement odds, anytime goal scoring and anytime goal involvement odds. In terms of goals scored, somehow Haaland still tops the list, given that it's a double game week. He's got a 62% chance of scoring in game week 27. Tony down at 59, but he does have a slightly higher goal involvement percentage at 74. Mitoma's down at 62 and 52 respectively. So looking at this sort of tempts me towards going for Tony captain a bit more than the expected points do. Just that he's backed to get returns in both those games. And I know they're both 2 away games against Southampton and Everton, but having watched Southampton and Everton recently, Southampton losing to Grimsby in the Cup and Everton not really keeping a clean sheet to save their lives, I think he's a great option. And he's proven that in away fixtures against Arsenal and Man City, scored in both of them, scored at the Emirates and scored at the Etihad. So I don't really think anything is putting me off captaining Tony. I'm recording this on Monday afternoon, so as long as he doesn't get injured, this video is going to go up on Tuesday. I'm just, the yellow cards is the only thing with Tony. If he picks up a yellow card on the Monday fixture, then it's probably worth just being safe and perhaps captaining a Brighton player. But if he stays yellow free, I think Tony is an absolute shoe-in as captain this week. And you can see the rest of the players for goal scoring and goal involvement odds there. And next up, we've got the clean sheet odds. And I've shown this on a few different double game weeks, and it paints quite a confusing picture, unfortunately. But essentially, it doesn't rank it ranks the double game week teams by the first fixture. So Man City are top here with 55, Tottenham at 50, Man United 48, Newcastle 48, Liverpool 45, Arsenal 44, and then Brighton, the best of the double teams in terms of clean sheet percentage, 36% away at Leeds and 48% against Palace. Everton, West Ham and Brentford, 33 up against Everton and 31 against Southampton. I'd say probably combined, each of those Brentford and Brighton teams are probably going to keep one clean sheet this game week, in my opinion, just going by the odds. That's the way I read it. Whereas Villa, Leeds, the rest of them there, under 30%, not really sure you can back them to keep clean sheets, particularly Crystal Palace. I think Southampton, they've got a chance of just scraping something in one of those games. I think you could always see that happening. But Palace, I think they're probably going to concede in both of those games. So with this list, I'd definitely prioritise Brighton and Brentford defenders. Wouldn't be selling like the likes of, I don't know, Trippier or even if you still got your Liverpool defence, I don't think I'd be rushing to sell them. But yeah, Crystal Palace be firmly ignoring. And here is how my team is looking going into game week 27. Obviously, as it says there, I played my wild card for 26 and it did absolutely terribly. I've not even crossed the 30 points barrier with my triple Brentford triple up to go. Yeah, hopefully game week 27 it redeems itself. I think it's really well set up, and to be honest, if I was like playing a free hit or building a wild card for 27, I think this would be the team that I pick. I don't really think there's any arguments for better players in these positions. Obviously, the Brentford defence, you could have three of them. You could really have me, Henry, or Pinnock, and either or will be absolutely fine. But for the rest of them, I think I've pretty much got the best players in every position. Bar, again, maybe the Brighton midfield as well, missing out on McAllister. Feel quite unlucky there, but I think March and Matoma will do the business, and I'm hoping variance is kind to me this week. But yeah, that's how my team's looking, hoping for a green arrow. Now, I've mentioned this in pretty much all of my videos, and full credit to Ben Crennan, of course, for this fixture grid, but I don't really think you can preview just one game week at the moment in FPL. There's so many doubles and blanks coming up that if you just have the blinkers on and focus on one game week, I think that's quite naive. You have to be, cognizant of what we got coming up. So I'm not going to, mandate players to pick or anything. That's never been my style, but giving you all the information you need to make your transfers is how I prefer to work. And as you can see, we've got a double in 27 for 4 teams. So Brentford, as I said, Brentford, Brighton, Palace, Southampton, and then one of those teams, Brighton, blanks in 28. So if you're deciding on maybe bringing in a Brentford or a Brighton player this week, I think they're the two strongest teams. I'd prioritise, if you can, bringing in a Brentford player because they don't blank in 28, whereas Brighton do, and they also double in 29. But obviously, if you look at the Brighton double in 29, it is quite attractive. But I think you'd rather have the fixture in 28 because I think some of us are really going to struggle to form a team of 11. Yeah, that was the comment really for this week. If you've got like a choice between Brentford or Brighton to bring in this week, I'd probably go Brentford just because they don't blank in 28. And then 29 is going to be absolutely crazy. 12 teams there you can see doubling. I won't mention them all because there's just too many. But yeah, lots of excitement there. Also, some potential blank game weeks coming up in 32, a double in 34 and a 37 to look forward to as well. But I think this chunk of fixtures over the next 3 weeks is when there's going to be some serious chip usage. Like most of us, including myself, played it in 26. I think quite a lot of people are going to be bench boosting in 29 with a really nice team to attack it. And then the free hit will probably, certainly for me anyway, be left for 34 or 37 to either deal with the double or maybe 32 if my team's in disarray to deal with the blanks. But yeah, just thought I'd present this at the end of the video just so you're cognizant of what's coming up over the next few game weeks, because like I said, if you're just focusing on game week 27 with your transfers this week, I don't think that's the right way to play it, and you need to have a bit of a longer term view. Well, and that concludes the video. A quick little preview there of Game Week 27. As I said, I'm just hoping we can forget about Game Week 26 now, the absolute disaster that's been for some of us. If you haven't played your wildcard, fair play to you. But yeah, I'm in a world of pain at the moment, FPL related. But if you did enjoy this video, please leave me a like rating. Subscribe to the Golden Goal channel to see more FPL content and my lovely mug. And I'll see you in the next video. See you, everyone.